We're now going to make a pivot to our candidates forum for the two candidates for mayor for the city of Brockton. Good afternoon, I'm Chris Cooney. I'm president of the Metro South Chamber of Commerce, and it's my pleasure to welcome you here to the candidates forum for Brockton Mayor. The Metro South Chamber of Commerce is comprised of leading businesses, education, and civic organizations, and is accredited by the United States Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber serves Brockton and the surrounding communities. This forum features the two candidates for mayor of the city of Brockton. Zoom access is limited, so we ask you to refrain from trying to chat or put questions in while they're speaking, the candidates are speaking. We also remind you that it will be recorded and it will be distributed. It's live now, but also will be distributed through us and be offered to the Brockton Community Access channel as well. So it will be able to be viewed by folks through the election day, which happens to be Tuesday, November 2nd is the election in the city of Brockton. So want to now introduce our moderator. We're delighted to have Sue back. This is, I think, her third year in doing the mayoral candidate forums. And she is the past chair of the Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors, but also is the CEO of the Brockton Neighborhood Health Center, one of the largest employers in the city of Brockton. Sue, welcome, and thank you for being with us.
Thanks, Chris, and welcome Councilor Cardoza and Mayor Sullivan. Hope we have a good forum here. So I want to start off with introductions, and I will be introducing in the order of your drawings earlier before the forum. So first introducing Mayor Robert Sullivan, who was born and raised in Brockton. He's the son of Robert and Susan Sullivan and grew up on Wellington Street in Ward 2. He attended Brockton Public Schools, Whitman Elementary School, and West Junior High School, and graduated from Brockton High School in 1988. He earned his BA and MBA at Boston College and his JD at New England School of Law. Prior to being elected mayor, he served on the Brockton City Council as councilor at large since 2006. In that role, he was elected by his colleagues to serve as the city council president 5 times. He previously served as a volunteer board member at Good Samaritan Medical Center for 10 years, the St. Joseph Manor Nursing Home, and the Brockton Historical Society. He is a volunteer youth soccer, baseball, and basketball coach within the city of Brockton. He's a member of Our Lady of Lourdes Church, and he's married to Maria Sullivan, who also grew up in Brockton, and they have 3 children. Welcome, Mayor Sullivan.
Thank you very much, Sue.
And I'm also honored to introduce and welcome Councilor Tina Cardoza. Tina Cardoza is a nurse, a mother, a nonprofit leader, and a Brockton City Councilor. Tina was born in the Cape Verde Islands and has lived in Brockton for over 20 years. In her 25 years as a nurse, Tina has worked as a triage nurse at Boston Medical Center, helped veterans navigate the Veterans Affairs hospital system, and cared for seniors in the psychiatric department at Caritas Good Samaritan Medical Center. As a survivor, protecting women and girls has always been crucial to Tina. She founded and leads Cape Verdean Women United, a local nonprofit organization dedicated to empowering women to give back to their communities through volunteering and mentorship. Through her organization, she focuses on mental health awareness and domestic and youth violence prevention. Councilor Cardoza lives in Ward 2 in Brockton and has raised 3 daughters, all of whom attended Brockton Public Schools. Her oldest daughter, Serena, holds a PhD in psychology. Her daughter, Leah, is a Boston public school teacher and recently elected union representative. And her youngest daughter, Nadia, graduated from UMass Amherst with a bachelor's degree in psychology. Welcome, Councilor Cardoza.
Thank you, Sue.
Before we begin today's candidate forum, I'll review the ground rules that have been established for today's forum and agreed to by both candidates. The order for the opening remarks and the Q&A and closing remarks is based on a drawing upon the candidate's arrival earlier today. Each candidate will be having opening remarks of up to 2 minutes each, and then there will be a series of questions where the responses will be 1 minute each. Time will be kept by chamber staff member Emma Emma Stratton. I asked the candidates to be on gallery mode on the Zoom so that you can see when Emma puts up the 30-second warning, the 15-second warning, and the time. By the way, she will also mute if needed. Each candidate will have closing remarks of 1 minute each, and the audience does not participate in this forum. The opportunity to submit questions was offered in advance of this event, and we do have some community questions in our list of questions. So with all that said, we will start with Mayor Robert Sullivan for 2 minutes of opening remarks. Mayor Sullivan?
Thank you, Sue. I want to thank you, and I want to thank Chris Cooney and his team at the Metro South Chamber of Commerce. I want to thank Councilor Cardozo. I really look forward to participating in this. I've done it in the past, and as we have been pivoting from COVID, the business entities, the Metro South, downtown business, Campbell and Montello have been working in collaboration, and that's the whole thing. We have to work together to forge the future, the building blocks for success. So although a lot of people have said it's been the COVID term, I think multitasking is in essence how Brockton has been able to move forward. The fact that as mayor, I didn't pause construction has truly reaped benefits in downtown Brockton, and now we're looking at Campello and Montello. Brockton is ripe for business. We all know this. So as mayor, my number one job as the CEO of the city of Brockton is to attract businesses here to the City of Champions, but also maintain the businesses that are currently here. Now, COVID's changed everything. We've been changed financially, mentally, emotionally. But one thing that doesn't change is the wonderful people that make up the City of Champions. And I'll give you a quick example. I was in Boston just recently trying to sell municipal bonds, $300 million worth of bonds with the CFO so we could, in essence, refinance our unfunded pension liability. After that 12-hour conference, $1.3 billion wanted to be invested in Brockton because people throughout the nation understand that Brockton is a targeted place for investment, opportunity zones, transit oriented. I can go on, but I am looking forward to continuing to serve the citizens, all 7 wards, all 28 precincts. And I greatly appreciate being able to spend time today to speak to each and every one of you like I've done since COVID started with this SBA call with Metro South Chamber of Commerce. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilor Cardozo?
Thank you, Sue, and thank you, Metro South, for putting on this forum. I really appreciate this, talking to everyone on the call. Thank you for all the great work you've been doing, reaching out to our small businesses to discuss some of the programs that are available. Thank you, Sue, for the great work that you've done throughout the pandemic. As a nurse, I really appreciate your opening comments about, folks getting their vaccines that they need and they're getting their appointments and physicals and all of that. So thank you very much. So Tina Cardozo, I've been on the council for 2 years now, and I've been a strong voice for people in our community. I've advocated for more transparency in government and for a more open, honest, inclusive government. All the work that I've done on the council has been around the constituent concerns. My constituents bring concerns to me, and I do the best that I can to advocate for them on the council. I've done a lot of work to ensure that throughout the pandemic, that funding that was coming into the city was being appropriated was going to the appropriate places. I was instrumental in starting the Health Equity Task Force and making sure we were providing recommendations to the city as to how best to use those funds and meet the needs of the people in the community. So again, my work on the council has been primarily representing the people and making sure that I'm a strong advocate for constituent concerns and providing, oversight to a lot of the funding, making sure that they're being prioritized to the needs in the community. I look forward to continuing that work with community partners such as yourself, and that we are able to work together to move the city forward. And I look forward to taking questions from everyone on this call today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilor. We'll now go to a set of questions that was written by the chamber. Mayor Sullivan will be first on the first question. Councilor Cardozo will be first on the second question, and it'll rotate from there. And you'll each have 1 minute. So starting with Mayor Sullivan, how will you create a welcoming environment to businesses and developers interested in Brockton around permitting, licensing, inspections, water and sewer rates, and commercial tax burden?
Yeah, I mean, it's what I have done as a city council for 14 years, and 5 of those years as the council president, acting mayor. In the last 2 years, it's about working together. We're better together. And so I have had an open door policy in spite of COVID. I've done walking tours with Secretary Mike Keneally and Dan Rivera from Mass Development. I've been on many forums with Metro South Chamber of Commerce. I was just in a meeting with DBA. We want to attract businesses here. I just had a gentleman, I've never met a billionaire in my life until recently. He came to Brockton, met in my office. You know what he said to me? I can't believe the Westgate Mall has a Chick-fil-A and a Starbucks. So we have to market Brockton and continue to do that. Also streamline the process. I said this when I took the oath of office. Brockton is a business, right? We're in the people business, $500 million. And as the CEO of the business, we want to make sure that everybody feels respected, transparent, but also able to be business friendly. So working with all the different public and private partners with a shared vision for a better Brockton, but an economically strong city of champions.
Thank you. Councilor Cardozo?
Thank you, Sue, for that question. That's been a question that many of my constituents have concerns over, the permitting process and just making that process easier for our businesses. So I think we need to look at improving technology and just looking across the departments that are involved with the permitting and licensing process to make sure that we're measuring success across those departments. It's one thing to say that we're going to improve the processes, but then how are we looking at outcomes, making sure that all of these processes are available, attainable, and that they're easy to access. So as mayor, I will definitely be working with each department. If there are enhancements that we need, we look at enhancements to those departments. In technology improvements to make sure that any business that is in need of a permit or to expedite that process for them. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And staying with Councilor Cardozo for the next question. Of the problems and challenges you see facing Brockton, what do you think you could solve within your first 100 days of the new year in 2022?
Well, as a nonprofit leader, in the community that's implemented evidence-based violence prevention programs, I would like to continue that work, working with community-based organizations. We know that crime has gone down a bit in our community over the past several years, but there has been recent uptake that's concerning. So some of the work that I've done with nonprofit organizations and other grassroots organizations, I would like to continue that work and also invest ARPA funds into violence prevention programs in the city. So the first 100 days of my administration, we will definitely be looking at violence prevention efforts and working more collaboratively to prevent violence in our community, in our schools as well.
Thank you. Mayor Sullivan?
Yeah, so I think I would direct it the way I did my first 100 days, although none of us expected a worldwide pandemic to hit the city of Brockton. But we have to stay focused on a healthy, safe city of champions. The fact that next Tuesday I've been able to work with the state to ramp up the Shaw Center for a regional booster site is key, but also multitask. To be an effective leader, you have to be a good listener. And that's one thing that I really pride myself on, working together, working with all the entities, all the private and public partners, but also looking to the experts. The Brockton Partnership and Bob Rivers and Jim Blake and Chris Cooney and Sue Joss, all the people that care about the city of Brockton, making sure that small businesses get the necessary funds. I've done that. I did $500,000 of emergency grants during my first term, and I hope to continue to work with the ARPA funds, the CARES Act funds, infrastructure funds. We have to continue to provide for a thriving economic base and attract businesses here. That's the key for success in the city.
Thank you. And Mayor Sullivan, the city raises more than $1 million in taxes every year from customers at Brockton hotels and restaurants. Would you commit to spending some of these funds promoting and marketing Brockton as Plymouth, Sturbridge, Quincy, and others have done?
I would also say that our hotel and motel taxes were dismal last year because of COVID, and that's rightfully so. Our meals tax were down as well. But I think any tool in the toolbox we have to utilize. So I would say yes to that. I also think we need to leverage the fact that we use our ties and our TIFs and our historic tax credits. That's what people are talking about. That's what developers saying to me right now. Brockton's transit orienting, 35 minutes to get into South Station. The price point, people are moving to the city of champions because it's cheaper to come here, right? As opposed to Quincy, Braintree, Dorchester, Southie. So, I'm really proud of the fact that I've been working with Brockton businesses, collaborated with Black-owned Brockton. They have marketplaces at the Westgate Mall and here outside. I was the one that created the outdoor dining, and I want to thank the councils for accepting that. But you have to think outside the box during tough times. That's what I've done. That's what I'll continue to do. And we're only as good as the leaderships that we elect.
Thank you. Councilor Cardozo?
Thank you, Sue, for that question. So marketing Brockton, absolutely. But I would also say that research has shown that investors that are looking to come into communities such as ours are looking at several factors and whether or not they'll bring their businesses in here. So crime being one of them, which we just talked about, reducing violent crime in the city, and also looking at median household income and educational attainment of our workforce. We're fortunate in Brockton to have a big workforce, but we need to make sure that they have the educational attainment that is necessary to attract these businesses. So I would definitely look at those three key things, making sure that we're supporting our workforce with education and that we're looking at crime, reducing crime and safer community so that we can attract more businesses to Brockton. So I am committed to working with all of the stakeholders to do so. Thank you.
Thank you. And Councilor Cardozo, again, Brockton has one of the higher commercial tax rates among surrounding communities. Would you propose lowering this tax rate to retain and attract businesses in Brockton?
Absolutely, and we've seen somewhat of a trend decline. So we need to continue on this trend as long as we're able to balance our budget and bring in new revenue, which is very important. We have to look at generating new revenue so that we can continue to support our small businesses and our residential taxpayers here in the city. So we're not burdening them and we're making it more attractive to bring in new businesses. So I would absolutely support this, but again, we need to make sure we're balancing our budget and we do that by bringing in new revenue. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mayor Sullivan?
Yeah, I mean, one thing I did is 14 years as a counselor and as the last 2 years as mayor, I listen and I learn. Now, I would never commit to saying, yes, we can do it because we have to see if there's the financial means to do that. I'm doing a lot of business visits. I walk and I talk and I listen and I learn. And, it's really difficult to say, yes, I would do that because at the end of the day, none of us, when I took office and when Tina took office January 6th, thought that we would be still dealing with a pandemic. None of us did. We had high hopes and it was dashed. But I know that, one thing that I have done as mayor is the Brockton Open for Business, and we have a Brockton app. And so really we have to be able to utilize the skill sets that we have here in Brockton. And I know Chris and I have had a lot of conversations over the year about the water rates and tax rate, but 2.5% is under Proposition 2.5. So listen, I understand people are just trying to get by, but I will tell you right now, Brockton is on the rise. It's on the radar of investors, not just in the Commonwealth, but throughout the nation.
Thank you. And another question for you. The Shaw Center and the former Massasoit Conference Center were once host sites for hundreds of celebrations and programs each year in Brockton. With their closure, many of these events have left the city. What are your plans to have these venues or a similar one open in Brockton?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, Shaw Center is not closed. I spent $1 million to retrofit it. And, it's been money that was reimbursed under the CARES Act. Now we pivoted. And of course, I want to thank you, Sue, and your team with Neighborhood Health Center and Board of Health. It was first testing and now it's vaccine. I have another $4 million in the queue right now for Campanelli Stadium. I've actually tried to work with Massasoit. First it was President Gina Glickman and now the current president to acquire the Massasoit Conference Center. When I had to have an inauguration gala, I had to go to Randolph. I mean, that wasn't a happy day, but quite honestly, the amount of people that showed up weren't going to be accommodated. I remember standing at the podium when I took the oath saying, we need to have a convention center. We will have a convention center. We have one called the Shaw Center. I hope to be able to acquire another one called the Massasoit Conference Center. So we will use money to acquire things, to retrofit things, but at the end of the day, we have to market it so people come here. I was at an event at the Teen Challenge the other day, and we need to continue to have conference centers and attract businesses here.
Thank you. Councilor Cardozo?
Thank you, Sue, for this question. Again, this is a question that's been posed to me as counselor many times from our residents. They really want a place where they can, have functions, a place for concerts, and they think that the Shaw Center is positioned in a location that we can generate new revenue for the city with hotels and meal taxes. So definitely that would be something that I would be in communications with, not only with our constituents, so we involve them, but the different stakeholders in the community to see how we can revitalize the Shaw's Center. So it is providing a space where we can have multicultural events and generate more revenue for the community, and also the Massasoit Conference Center. We've talked about that a long time. Having an intergenerational center has been something that's brought up so we can support youth and our aging population, and also a youth community center. We've talked a lot about that as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question on the regional wastewater facility in Brockton. The city has one of the largest regional wastewater treatment facilities in eastern Massachusetts. Both the state of Mass and the federal government have approved Brockton to expand sewer agreements with surrounding towns to assist with the expansion of business districts and industrial parks. A small amount of shared sewage capacity could make a big difference for the environment, regional economy, and provide new jobs while generating income in Brockton to offset increasing operating costs. As mayor, would you provide regional leadership and expand these sewer agreements? Councilor Cardozo?
Yes, thank you, Sue, for that question. Absolutely, I think it's important to expand regional water, but I also feel that we just on the council recently, we had the town of Avon that was looking to tap into our sewer. We have to make sure that we are being fair to all these intermunicipal agreements are fair and equitable, and that we're imposing the fines at the highest level to generate funding for the city. So I would absolutely be on board with doing that, making sure that there is a fair process for any of these towns that are looking to tap into our water and sewer. Thank you.
And Mayor Sullivan?
Yeah, Sue, I mean, as mayor, I've met with many municipalities. Previous mayors said, if you don't buy water, you're not going to have sewer. But I'm the mayor of Brockton, so I need to make sure that the residents in Brockton are taken care of first. So I have entered into IMAs with Avon that the council just approved that had been done by previous mayors. But we have 750 units of housing in the queue right now downtown Brockton. We have Thatcher Street projects. We have a lot of projects going on. So we want to make sure our capacity, our capabilities is for Brockton. Now, I will tell you right now, Larry Rowley, the former DPW, and Mr. Norton over there has already told me that our capacity is limited for storage right now. So future projects needs to be paused relative to sewer tie-ins. But we have a plethora of water with Aquarius. So, I'll continue to do my due diligence with the experts. But again, we need to continue the development in the city of Brockton. If we can benefit other municipalities and get some money coming into the coffers, that's a win-win. But again, we have so much going on in the city of Brockton right now that we have to look at the residents of Brockton and take care of them. That's what it means to be a mayor, to serve everybody in the city.
Thank you. And to follow up on your comment about Aquaria, what thoughts do you have about the Aquaria desalination water supply plant? And what price does it make sense for Brockton to purchase this facility?
Yeah, I can tell you when I became mayor, the previous mayor, Mayor Rodriguez, had an agreement in place with a hard number with the entity that owns it, the folks from Florida. When they came with me, they jacked it up the other way, a couple $1 million. That's not what you do in terms of negotiating good faith. But I've taken visits of the site. I think the price point they're looking for right now is not the value that I would ever put before the city council. We're in the people business, we're in the government business. If it's the right point, we can control our own destiny. But I will say this, out of all my years in the city council, the only customer that Aquaria has is the city of Brockton. No other municipalities have tied into that yet. So again, it's a business decision, but I'll tell you right now, the whole focus shifted when COVID came to Brockton. But to negotiate in good faith and get to a hard number, I'm going to continue to see where we are. And then if it's the right thing, we'll go before the council and present it.
Thank you. And Councilor Cardozo?
So we've dumped millions of dollars into Aquaria over the years. The last time we did an analysis of performance was about 5 years ago, where we found that, that Aquaria was not performing to what it said it was going to perform on the contract. So I think I would, again, look at what makes sense when it comes times for those discussions, but I would also look at trying to get out of Aquaria if we could for non-performance, and looking to tap into maybe some of the local wells if a secondary water source is needed. But I think we've spent enough money on Aquaria, and it just wouldn't make sense for the amount of money that I'm hearing that they're looking for us to purchase Aquaria to do that right now. It just wouldn't make sense for our taxpayers to continue to pour money into Aquaria where we could reallocate some of that money to other areas of need, such as public safety. So definitely looking into ending that contract if it's possible.
Thank you. Councilor Cardoza, this one's for you as well. How do you think the city and businesses can best work together to foster a strong relationship and a brighter future for Brockton?
So we talked a lot about this on the council this week with our city planner, and one of my questions was around revitalizing some of the business associations like the Campello, the Downtown, and the Montello associations, and also reaching out, doing more outreach to the small businesses that are the backbones of the community, so that we're making sure that everybody has a seat at the table and everyone's voices are heard. And they're expressing their concerns, we're validating the concerns. A lot of the small businesses in the community are really upset about the way that they have been treated throughout the pandemic. And during my time on the Health Equity Task Force, I advocated for us to have a small business tech person that would assist some of the small businesses so that their businesses would be positioned properly to receive some of the SBA and PPP loans because they have a lot of challenges in the way the businesses are structured. So I'm hoping to continue to do that, to reach out to the different business associations and the small business. Sorry, thank you. I think I muted by mistake.
Sue, I think you're muted now, Sue.
I'm sorry, there was a fire engine going by, so I muted. Mayor Sullivan, same question to you.
Yeah, again, it comes down to collaborating with the key stakeholders, and I've done that with the BRA, Brockton Redevelopment Authority, OCPC, Old Colony Planning. We actually did a Brockton business survey, which was well received, and there's going to be a white paper coming out. And in terms of that Brockton MA City of Champions app, that's a game changer. You're going to see a lot of signage. We've already started putting it up, but it's a free app. Over 2,000 Brockton businesses are listed for free. It's a marketing tool. It's just another tool in the toolbox. I mean, the Open for Business initiative, leveraging the Brockton partnership, leveraging the Chamber, the DBA, Campello, Montello. That's what we need to do. But we also have to have complete and utter honesty with the businesses and do a deep dive on what is it that they're looking for. So I fostered a relationship with students from Harvard Kennedy. They're here right now. Harvard Kennedy and Cambridge are coming to Brockton, and they're looking at amenities. I asked them if they would, and I pitched it to their professor. What's good in Brockton? What's already here in Brockton? What's lacking? What needs to be enhanced? And they're working on that. So again, we're in this together in terms of business, residents. Everybody wants to have a brighter future in Brockton. It starts with business opportunity and growth. It's going to help our economy.
Thank you. And another one for you, Mayor Sullivan. Would you support the creation of a city manager position in Brockton, similar to those in Lowell and Worcester?
The city of Brockton, listen, I'm a son of a history teacher. There's been one city manager in the history of Brockton, Mr. Gilday, and it didn't work well. I can tell you that our form of government right now, in terms of a Form B mayor council government, works well. I've served in both capacities. I think that we have to look at ways that are going to enhance government and going to enhance business and education and housing. That's why I created the Community Justice Task Force and the 8 members that volunteered. So I would have to say at this time, it didn't work in the history of Brockton one time. I can't imagine right now is the right time to change the form of government. We're in the middle of a pandemic. I think the city councils, all 11 and all 7 school committee and the 3 reps and the state senator are working really with a common purpose for a better Brockton. So my answer to this currently would be no, Sue. It would have to be a citizens initiative. It would have to go to the ballot box for changing the government, and it would have to be a home rule up at the State House.
Thank you. And same question, Councilor Cardozo.
Great question, Sue, and we've had discussions around that as well in the community. It's something that I would like to look into, but also make sure that we're including the community around those discussions. I feel that, you know, the best way for us right now to bring in new businesses and for our communities to thrive is to, again, look at what is attracting businesses to City of Brockton. You know, look at safe communities, look at increasing the median household income, and looking at educational attainment for our workforce. Those are the three key things that I would like to work on to make sure that businesses are able to come into Brockton. We're positioned in a great location. We have educational institutions and we have healthcare institutions right here. And like I said, again, our workforce is, we have a great workforce, but we have to invest in them. And we have to continue to invest in our small businesses that are feeling like this administration has not done enough to reach out to them and to help them. So that's my commitment, but thank you.
Thank you. So the next set of questions were submitted by community members prior to today's forum. And a reminder that after this set of questions, you will each have some time for some closing remarks. So starting with Councilor Cardozo, how would you balance the needs of the homeless population in Brockton with the needs of businesses?
So that's a good question. As a nurse, you know that I've worked with homeless, not that you know, but so you know, I've worked with the homeless population quite a bit. And recently we actually had a meeting with Father Bills to discuss depopulating the Main Street area and providing additional services to our homeless population. That was a really great conversation, really hopeful that we're able to do this. So we have those wraparound services for them and that we're able to make sure that we're meeting their needs and they have a safe place where we can help them with all of the resources that they require to live healthy in this community. So I am committed to continuing those conversations with Father Bills and all of the other stakeholders to make sure that we're not only helping the situation, the homeless population we have now, but we're decreasing incidents of homelessness overall in our community. Thank you.
Yeah. Mayor Sullivan?
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, no one chooses to be homeless, right? There's so many variables. We all grew up with the idea of having a roof over our head, but you know, alcohol, drugs, mental health, maybe a foreclosure epidemic gets people on the street. I've worked with Father Bills and John Yazinski since I became mayor. We were doing 3 calls a week. Sue, you were on there, the hospitals were on there, the VA, about how we can protect all residents in the city of Brockton. Now, the roadway in was the old Carlton House. They teed that up with the help of the state delegation and myself, and Lieutenant Governor Polito was just there the other day. They've acquired that. They have housing there. But Manley Street is the key because Manley Street is government property abutting the VA, where a new Father Bills will go. It'll be a campus setting, wraparound services. I was asked to support that by John and Father Bills. I told them I would, but when they leave downtown, I want the city to reacquire, first right of refusal to reacquire the current Father Bills next to Perkins Park. There's an agreement, a verbal agreement right now. So listen, it's a catalyst for change in the downtown, much like 40R smart growth zoning. So we need to continue to take care of all residents, those that have housing, those that are hurting without houses at this time.
Thank you. And another question for you, Mayor. What life and service experiences have best prepared you to serve in the role of Brockton Mayor?
Well, first of all, I have a wonderful family and a loving wife and 3 kids. My title and honor is to be the mayor, but my biggest job is the dad of 3 kids. I might not be the best coach in the city of Brockton, but I like coaching children and trying to mentor. But being a lawyer, being legally trained, having an MBA, having run a small business myself, I think really helped me coming out of the gates. Having done, before I got elected, 14 city budgets, having served as acting mayor when previous Mayor Belzotti and Harrington and Carpenter were out, was very, very helpful. But really, listen, I'm from Brockton. I might be the mayor, but I'm just Bob from Brockton. So I never left what Brockton is, the strength of Brockton, the people of Brockton, to listen and learn. And that's why I'm running again. A lot of people have said you should call it a day. It's been hell for the last 2 years, but we have a mission together. We need to continue to tell the story of Brockton and help people in Brockton and forge the future. Building blocks for success are going to be key, and business are a key component of that success.
Thank you. Councilor Cardozo?
Thank you, Sue. So for me, government, our role is to facilitate and create opportunities for our community to thrive. And that means our community at large and our small businesses. Our small businesses are the backbone of the community, and they've been paying their taxes pre-COVID and contributing to the community. But they were hit hard during the pandemic, and they're feeling like that they're not getting the support that they need. So my commitment is to make sure that we're supporting our small businesses that are the backbone, and that we're providing opportunities for them to grow. And in turn, that will grow jobs, and it'll make our communities, beautify our communities, make them safer, and also attract new businesses. So again, in my administration, we're not just talking to billionaires and Hollywood and big investors. We're looking at our small businesses as the backbone of the community. We're supporting them so that we can continue to attract new businesses to our community. Thank you.
Thank you. And another question for you. Brockton grew its official count of residents substantially since the last census. The state is in desperate need of more housing. Many would like to see Brockton provide more homes and housing options in the coming years. Would you support setting a goal for growth of residents by 2030? If so, how would you achieve this population growth goal?
So again, Sue, I talked a little bit about having ways to measure our success. And I think that that's something that we really need to do. We need to have support our businesses, bring in new businesses, generate new revenue, create good paying jobs. People want to stay in their homes. They want to be able to afford their homes. So we need development where they can get to work, transit-oriented development, what we talked about, making sure we have good paying jobs so folks can afford to stay in their homes, and also creating opportunities, pathways to home ownership. But not only that, once they get into their homes, we want to support them to be able to stay in their homes with programs to help them revitalize or renovate their homes. Again, just working collaboratively to make sure that we're supporting our homeowners and our renters. The renters pay into the tax base as well. Looking at generating new revenues so we can decrease the burden on taxpayers would definitely help with the high rent as well. So I'm sorry, I yield.
Thank you. And Mayor Sullivan?
Yeah, I know. So when I took office, the response in the census was 38%. And I told everybody we need to do better than that. We're going to lose millions and millions of dollars. And we did a collaborative campaign and we ended up at 61%. And as you know, we're almost 106,000 now on the book. So 10 years ago, they had us at 95,000. So we're gonna get a lot of more federal money coming in, which is wonderful. Housing is a key component, but also the amenities, the commercial base and the industrial base, also leveraging the ties and tips. I keep talking about it, but businesses have come here because of that, right? Crown Linen, Bernardi Auto, Keneally Food. So we have to think outside the box on how we market businesses, but also taking care of businesses that are here. I mean, small businesses, large businesses. I remember when I was on the city council, WB Mason was going to leave the city of Brockton. We gave a $3 million TIF so that they would stay here. That's a ton of jobs in the city of Champion. So, in terms of where we go in the future, the core is in the downtown right now, but we have to leverage all areas of the city of Brockton. It's that important, from the village to Campello to Montello to the west side to the east side. So we will.
Thank you. Mayor Sullivan, what steps do you anticipate taking to help Brockton businesses recover from the pandemic?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, we were able to work with Mass Hire and BRA during the pandemic. We got some money, $500,000 was given out, directing critical emergency funds. It was granted, it was free money, $10,000. But I will tell you, the ARPA money is coming in. We already have 17 million. We'll get another 17 next year. We've gotten 18 million in CARES Act from the county. We've reimbursed ourselves that way. Infrastructure money will be coming in as well. So again, I had a conversation with Leader Claire Cronin yesterday and Rep Cassidy. They're going to be taking up additional ARPA money on Beacon Hill next week and hearings. Brockton will benefit, but I've said this in front of the council and I'll continue to say it. It's great to get all this money, but we have to spend it wisely because at the end of the day, that money is going to yield at some point. So in terms of marketing the city of Brockton, attracting the fact that business people in Hollywood are coming here, that's great because Gus at the Italian Kitchen is happy because they're buying his sandwiches down there. So we have to think outside the box, but also maintain what we have here in the city.
Thank you. And Councilor Cardozo?
Thank you, Sue. So I've been doing this work throughout the pandemic and my time on the council, working with small businesses in the community to make sure they have access to these programs that are available to them. But there's a lot of work to be done. Again, I'll stress the importance of having that tech person who's doing a fine job, and we need to expand on that program. So we have assistants, technical assistants for our small businesses, and we're working closely with them. And that takes someone who knows the community well. You asked a little while ago what takes my qualifications for being a good mayor. I have deep roots in this community, something that it has been expressed to me by folks in the community that the mayor doesn't have, is the ability to reach across all of these different ethnic communities and really help them to gain more access, more knowledge. Knowledge is power, right? So we want to make sure they have the information that they need in the way that they can interpret it. And I think that that's going to be what makes me a better leader, is that deeply rooted commitment to helping the folks in our community. Thank you.
Thank you. And another question for you, Councilor Cardozo. Brockton figures into many proposed shifts in redistricting because of recent growth. What are your priorities as these new districts are proposed and determined?
Thank you. So again, I take it back to making sure that we have safe communities. That's the utmost importance to everybody here. Public safety is really important. So we want to make sure that we're working closely with everyone in the community, all of our nonprofits, our state delegates, to ensure that that is priority to everyone that's involved, that our communities are safe. So again, businesses, making sure that we're using the workforce, educating our workforce so that we attract the businesses. These are all going to be key to a thriving community here in Brockton. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mayor Sullivan?
Yeah, I mean, every 10 years redistricting happens. Here in my office, we're working with the Secretary of State for precincts here. They're going to change some of the precincts in the city of Brockton, and the Secretary does that. And of course, the State House has been working on the new maps for the new districts. I did testify against the idea of trying to have Congressman Stephen Lynch not represent the city of Brockton. He has been unbelievable to work with during my time as a councilor at large and also a mayor. At the end of the day, what's not going to change are the people that make up the 7 wards and 28 precincts and the business owners that are scattered throughout the city of Brockton. So I think as mayor, you need to, first of all, do a reach out. And I have done that. I mean, I've represented the entire city for 16 years. And many of those times I've got the most votes in any election. And I don't really care how long you serve. It's what have you done since you've been there. In terms of trying to go to businesses and attract businesses, you have to talk to everybody. You have to tell the story. The fact that the Milton Museum is downtown Brockton now with Picasso and Renoir and Remington and Whistler, that's a game changer. And that makes a difference. And Lieutenant Governor Polito was impressed when I took her there.
Thank you. Mayor Sullivan, what is your big idea that will move Brockton boldly forward to a brighter future?
Well, I think the Open for Business initiative is something that's key, but as of Monday, we did a citizen survey online in the city of Brockton, and we're doing application process right now. These are for the ARPA monies. And again, in historic times in terms of a windfall of money coming into the city of Brockton, $34 million, Student Opportunity Act, $22 million. So we have to spend the money wisely, but I want to hear from the people. That's why the survey is active right now. And that's why we're going to have a grant application for all the nonprofits. When you look at the guidelines, and I've already spoken to Father Bills and Boys and Girls Club and the YMCA and anti-gun violence, but when you look at the guidelines, it's pretty wide on what you can spend the money. And that's why I've asked every department head to give me a capital project. And I've spoken to the state delegation. So our future is bright. We have to actually paint our own picture. The canvas is blank. We need to paint it. And we're going to paint it, first of all, in a smart way, a wise way, an economic way, and a business way, because that's what we need to do. We need to take Brockton to the next generation, my kids, Tina's kids. And in terms of that, it's a pathway for success.
Thank you. Councilor Cardozo?
Thank you, Sue. I think absolutely listening to people in the community is key. I think you can spend 16 years on the council and not know your community well. You can be a counselor at large and not know your community well. I think our mayor has good intentions, but he doesn't understand the needs of the community. During the pandemic, he was slow to respond. If it was not for folks like myself and other activists, nonprofit leaders in the community, he wouldn't know where to start. So I think with all of the funding that's coming into the city, we absolutely need someone in City Hall that understands the needs of the people in this community. I think where he could have done better was right from the beginning was to have a team of folks, different folks from different ethnic communities to guide him so he would have a better understanding of what the needs are. I don't feel he has an understanding of the needs. I think that we need to make sure that we're including all of our communities. We're not doing that right now. And as mayor, that's what I'm committed to do. So we make sure all of these funds get to where they need to go.
Thank you. The last question is kind of a softball. So what is one of your favorite places to eat out in Brockton? Councilor Cardozo?
So I eat everywhere because I can eat anywhere and everywhere because I'm comfortable in any setting. So Luanda, Pretus, the little, mom and pop places. I can go to Toros on Belmont. I can go to Brax. I can go anywhere in this city and feel comfortable. And I think that that's what makes me a great mayor. I can have a beer, with some buddies at the local bar. I can have coffee with anybody in their homes and tea. And I think that that's what we need in this day and age is a mayor that transcends all of the different cultures and community here in Brockton, because our demographics has changed. And in order for us to move forward, we need someone that they can trust, that can go into their establishments, have a meal, have a drink, and feel comfortable in any environment. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Sullivan?
Yeah, I mean, when I was running for mayor 2 years ago against Jimmy Pereira, I was a staunch dieter. I was on the keto diet. I lost 68 pounds. I'm not on that keto diet anymore. And to be able to go out now and not wear a mask is awesome. I don't have one specific restaurant that I like in the city of Brockton. And we can talk about as a kid where I used to go with Christos and George's, but my mom was a nurse. My dad was a teacher. We didn't have a lot of money to go out. We had grilled cheese and tuna fish. That's how we did it. And a lot of roast beef on Sunday. But I'll tell you, the restaurant businesses need it. I was at a local restaurant last night, and when I was talking to people, I said, remember to tip the waiters and waitresses. They're working hard. They need that. So I could go all around the city of champions. It doesn't matter where you are. You're going to find great people providing great services. And the restaurants are awesome, but also the stores, I mean, you can go to Gallows Candy and get the best candy, in the Commonwealth. So I just want to say that Brockton's a wonderful place. And we have hardworking, dedicated people, and that's what makes Brockton so special. So the people that don't know Brockton, the naysayers, you're missing out.
Thank you. Phew. I didn't think 1 minute was enough for these answers, to be honest with you. And you both kept right within the time limit and hadn't heard the questions in advance. So thank you both. To finish up, each of you will have 1 minute to make closing remarks. This is based on the second drawing order. And again, Mayor Sullivan drew first on that. So Mayor Sullivan, 1 minute.
Thank you, Sue. Thank you, Metro South Chamber of Commerce, led by Chris Cooney. I want to thank everybody watching this and those that will watch. My name is Robert Sullivan, and it's an honor and distinct pleasure to be here today as the current mayor, the 50th mayor in the history of the city of Brockton. I am a candidate for re-election, and it's coming up quick, November 2nd. I'm going to respectfully ask you, first of all, to go to the polls, do your civic duty and vote. And I'm asking you to please re-elect me as your mayor as the city of Brockton. I'm a lifelong Brocktonian. My wife and I are raising 3 kids. I'm fortunate to have both my parents in-laws still here in the city of Brockton. Brockton is a special place because of the people. And I've said this many times, if Brockton was a stock, everybody should be buying it because the return on investment is real. The business people watching this know who I am. They've known me for all my years as an elected official, but they also knew me when I volunteered 2 years on the planning board back in 03 and 04. So I am humbly asking people to please go on electrobertsullivan.com to check out who I am. If you don't know me, or always give me a call. I am always ready, willing, and able to work with you and work for you. Robert Sullivan, Mayor of the City of Brockton.
Thank you. Councilor Cardozo?
Thank you, Sue, and thank you. These questions were great. They were tough, but we made it through. And I want to thank everybody that submitted questions. And again, Tina Cardozo, I've been working hard for transparency and open, honest government that communicates with everyone in the community, not just the chosen few. I want to continue to do that as your next mayor. And for our business community, I understand that small businesses are the backbone of this community. I've worked really hard to help our small businesses. I will continue to do that. And you can rest assured that you have a partner in me at City Hall that will listen to you. The goal is to listen. Good leadership listens to its constituents and tries to find solutions to their issues. And I will be that mayor, one that listens. My doors will always be open to all of you in the community. Also, figuring out how we can measure success. We have to be able to measure success with any of these programs that we're doing. If not, then it's not going to work. So I want to be that mayor for all of you, and I hope that I get your vote on November 2nd. Thank you.
Well, thank you both so much on behalf of the chamber for a really rapid fire debate where you stayed within the time limits and got great information out to everybody. So thank you for all of that. On behalf of the chamber, I'd also like to thank the following people and organizations for making today's mayoral forum possible. Mayor Robert Sullivan, City Councilor Tina Cardozo, Brockton Community Access, the Enterprise, the Chamber's Government Affairs Committee, the Chamber's Board of Directors, and especially the Chamber staff who worked really hard to pull all of this together. I'd like to thank UMass Boston for sponsoring the 2022 Government Affairs Committee meetings. Wish you all a very pleasant day and weekend. And remember, please vote Tuesday, November 2nd. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Thank you. Have a great weekend.
You too.